Well, hello you fabulous people and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thank you for joining me. I'm Katie and today we have a scroll box, and some of this might be voiced over, but for now there is nothing in the house to make any noise, so I'm going to open it and you're going to see what's in the box. So it is quite a heavy one this month, and it does not sound like pens, which is great. So let's get this one open, shall we? It doesn't actually feel that long ago since the last SCRAWLRBOX, to be honest with you. I don't know where that time's gone, but then again I was sort of up to the neck in Inktober then, so I think since having the newfound freedom of not doing that has, I don't know, it's just made the flow of time go a little bit quicker, right? Oh, come on. Come on. Oh, Luke. We have a pencil. We always have a pencil. But I guess they all get used, don't they? There's some gubbins. What have we got here? So our print is by Voiceover, based in Amsterdam, didn't mean that to rhyme, and it's at Voiceover on Instagram if you want to check out the featured artist. Looks like we have a nice textured paper, maybe watercolour. It's quite thin though, it's not very thick, and that's the box. I'll put that there for now. Let's have a look what is in the packaging. That is a cute sticker. I do like me a sticker. We have, I can only assume a sherbet lemon, so I'm going to eat that now. Probably not going to sound great, but that's where we are. Oh, gouache, nice. It's better than what we've had recently. So let's have a look. Come on. Okay, we have those ones. We have a Van Gogh paintbrush, and that's what they do. I've had one of these before in my iridescent paints, which is great. Oh, you know I won't put the lid back on that, that's asking for trouble. We have a very interestingly named eraser. Okay, so let's have a little look at what is what. So this month we are providing you with the tools and inspiration to explore gouache. No, they say it's pronounced gouache. I'm still going to pronounce it gouache because I've always pronounced it gouache. So I have used gouache before. Don't forget to check out those videos. Let's find out a bit more about these materials. So the colour pack is an ideal introduction to aquafine gouache watercolour paints. That's interesting how it uses both. Aquafine watercolours are made from a careful selection of modern high quality pigments milled to perfection to offer optimum performance and control. These rich colours have beautiful pigmentation and properties that produce beautiful, delicate washes every time. These paints combine a modern way of using watercolour with the traditional essentials that come with using this medium, which makes this innovative range ideal for mixed media as well as techniques. So, I'm not really sure what this is pitching at. It's obviously gouache, but it's suggesting it's more like a watercolour. And that was my phone. It's just a bit weird. I'm not really sure. Is this going to behave differently to gouache that I've used before? Is it going to be more like watercolour or more like gouache? Who knows? We'll find out when we swatch. The paintbrush is Royal Talons Van Gogh 191 series brush. You usually get these in the little art palettes, so they usually fit quite nicely. I'm not going to put that back together though, not while the brush is dry. Pretty good. The Lyra Robinson 3B pencil, so it's quite a dark one. I'm not happy with the point on that, so I shall sharpen it. It's a pencil. They say it's a very smart looking drawing instrument with a high gloss blue colouring and colour dipped end, gold embossed grey. I don't really care about that stuff, to be honest. As long as it's a pencil and it says it's the grade it is, it doesn't matter. And the Cum Natural Eraser. What a name to call something. I'm sorry, but really. Let's have a look. It's made from natural materials, free of PVC, latex and can't pronounce it. Yeah, it's an eraser. It says it's soft and gentle. Is it going to be as soft as a kneadable eraser? Who knows? And then what else? The paper is Bockingford CP watercolour, cold press watercolour paper, 220 grains per square metre. That does not feel like 220. I'm sorry, but that does not. It says it has a beautiful textured look. Yes, I'll agree there. It's got cellulose in it, wooden felts, so I don't think it's a cotton based one, but to be quite honest with you, that doesn't bother me that much anyway. And this month's Scrawler challenge is Face of Emotion. Okay, I'll have to have a little think about that. Anyway, let's move on to the swatches, shall we? Okay, we're on to voiceover me. Things kind of got noisy outside. Someone's decided to get their tree cut down. So, as you can imagine, lots of lovely noises. So, you're going to have to make do with voiceover me. So, swatching these out. The paper, personally, I thought was a bit thin, but let's see how it goes. The paints themselves, they seemed quite gloopy. Now, if you've seen me on the other gouache videos, they seem more buttery. This seemed more gloopy, borderline slimy. But I guess that's because they're trying to keep that watercolour element in there, and perhaps there's a bit more gum arabic in there than normal. The pencil was a pencil, and the oddly named eraser, it erased alright. Personally felt it was going to shred the paper a little bit, despite it saying that it's soft and gentle. I don't know. It's alright, it's okay. So, for my piece, Face of Emotion, I just sort of did the same character but in my style with a look of disgust. And you'll also notice that I am not using the paper that comes with the SCRAWLRBOX, and that is because the first one I did was a disaster. I think I'd done a pretty awful job of the drawing, and by the time I'd committed with the paint, there was no going back. It looked awful, and because of the volume of paint that I was putting on there, it just kept crinkling and welling, and no, I wasn't best pleased. And because I'd want to layer up the gouache, the paper would crinkle even more, and so on, and I just scrapped it at the end. So if you hang around until the very end of the video, you will be treated to a quick glimpse of how awful that actually was. That aside, and finding some paper that would work, I cracked on. And the first thing that truly irritated me, that wasn't my fault, was the paintbrush. Now, I've had the Van Gogh little mini paintbrushes before. Like I said earlier on, I had them in the little watercolour, the metallic watercolour palette that I've used recently. And yeah, it was alright, it was a nice brush, but for some reason, the one that came with SCRAWLRBOX, and it's not SCRAWLRBOX's fault, it just would not stay attached, and there is a big ugly smear on the page where it just fell out of the handle. And I just thought, scrap this, I'm just going to use brushes I've got in. So that also gave me a little bit more freedom to be able to work how I needed to. It's just unfortunate that happened with the brush, but you know, we overcome these things. Now, getting used to these paints, again, I
couldn't decide painting with them whether it felt like a watercolour or gouache. It bloomed really nicely like a watercolour would, but it also layered up nicely like gouache would. So I think I'm going to work some more in this paint. I quite like it, and these thicker mediums are something I'm looking to work on a little bit more in the future. So all in all, I'd say it wasn't a bad box. It was definitely better than last month's because there was actually something in it. The paper could have been better, and again, I always whinge about this with SCRAWLRBOX, but please put more than just 2 pieces of paper in. We like to swatch on one sheet, and that only gives us one chance on the other, and maybe we want to do some more projects. So more than one sheet, please. And maybe for the media, I know it said it was quite, what was it, 220 GSM paper. It felt too thin for the medium. It might have been alright if you were doing a wash, let it dry, do another wash, but for something that's going to sit on the paper with each layer and reabsorb, it would just keep bringing it back to life. And that's only my opinion, and maybe I need a little bit more practice, but I prefer a thicker paper for gouache. Anyway, let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree there. I don't mind a conversation about this. Just a quick rundown as to what we had were Daler Rooney Aquafine Gouache, and there were 6 tubes, a Royal Talons Van Gogh 191, we had an eraser and a 3B pencil, and it was the Bockingford cold press watercolour paper. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. It was actually nice to be able to speak live whilst I wasn't opening it. I don't get to do that very often, so it was really nice, a bit more of a surprise for me as it was for you guys. If you've enjoyed this, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button for more, don't forget to check out the other playlists if you're new here too, and I will see you on the next video. Oh, and hang around for the monstrosity at the end. Bye!